Imagine a landscape of inner silence where childhood should have bloomed but instead withered beneath the weight of unexpected responsibilities, a terrain of emotional survival where innocence becomes a distant memory, of forgotten language spoken only in the most hidden corridors of memory. There exists a profound psychological wound carried by those who were forced to become adults before they ever felt truly safe, a wound that speaks not with words but with the entire being, with every breath, with every unexpressed emotion, with every carefully constructed defense. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. Each muscle carries the memory of premature maturity, each breath holds the tension of a childhood interrupted, a delicate internal ecosystem disrupted by external demands that arrived too soon, too harsh, too unforgiving. Safety becomes not a given but a distant concept, a theoretical possibility existing somewhere beyond the immediate landscape of survival, a mirage that constantly retreats as one approaches. Childhood is supposed to be a sanctuary, a protected space of exploration, of discovery, of gradual understanding of the world. But for some, the sanctuary is transformed into a battlefield, a place of constant negotiation, constant vigilance, constant adaptation. The child who must become an adult too soon learns a language more complex than words, a language of survival, of reading environments, of anticipating dangers, of protecting not just themselves but often entire familial systems. Imagine the internal architecture of such a being, a complex maze of survival mechanisms where each corridor, each hidden room represents a different strategy of emotional protection. The soft, vulnerable parts of self are carefully sealed away, locked behind intricate defense mechanisms constructed not with bricks and mortar but with layers of suppressed emotions, unspoken traumas, and silent adaptations. Safety becomes an internal concept, a psychological strategy rather than an external experience. And if these words awaken something inside you right now, allow yourself to respond with a small gesture of presence, maybe a like or a brief reflection. And if you feel that this journey speaks to something deep within you, subscribe so we can continue exploring these inner landscapes together. The world sees strength where there is actually profound adaptation. The external appearance of competence masks an internal landscape of deep, unresolved complexity. Each accomplishment, each moment of apparent maturity becomes both a testament to survival and a silent cry for the childhood that was never fully lived. The psychological price is not paid in a single moment but through a lifetime of subtle negotiations with an internal reality that never quite matches external expectations. Trauma moves through the system like an underground river, invisible yet profoundly transformative. It carves new paths, creates unexpected connections, dissolves old boundaries, reveals hidden territories of experience. The child who becomes an adult too soon develops a remarkable sensitivity, an almost supernatural ability to read environments, to anticipate emotional currents, to navigate complex psychological terrains with a skill that both protects and isolates. The mind becomes a vast house where certain rooms remain permanently locked, the doors of childhood carefully sealed to prevent the flood of unprocessed emotions. These locked rooms contain the most vulnerable parts of the self, the parts that were never allowed to fully develop, the parts that continue to exist in a state of perpetual suspension, waiting for a moment of safety, a moment of true healing, a moment when the burden of premature responsibility can finally be set down. Dreams become the primary sanctuary where the suppressed child can finally speak, where the carefully constructed adult persona loses control, where the raw, unfiltered experience can emerge in symbolic, powerful narratives that speak a language beyond words. In these nocturnal landscapes, the true depth of unexpressed experience reveals itself, a complex terrain of emotion, memory, and survival. The landscape of premature maturity unfolds like an intricate map drawn with invisible ink, revealing its contours only to those who have learned to see beyond the surface of apparent functionality. Here in the deeper territories of psychological experience, the wounds of unexpected adulthood pulse with a rhythm both ancient and immediate, a silent symphony of survival that plays beneath the skin of consciousness. Each movement becomes a carefully choreographed response to years of unexpected pressure, a dance of constant adaptation. Imagine the internal world as a complex theatrical stage where multiple versions of self perform simultaneously: the wounded child, the forced caretaker, the silent observer, the protective guardian, each character moving with a precision born of necessity, each gesture a reflection of survival strategies developed in moments of profound vulnerability. The mind transforms into an extraordinary mechanism of adaptation, creating intricate pathways of emotional survival so sophisticated, so nuanced that they become invisible even to the self that constructed them. The body becomes a living archive of unspoken experiences. Muscles hold tension like encrypted messages. Skin remembers boundaries that were never truly respected, spaces that were never completely safe. These bodily memories speak a language more profound than words, a language of instinct, of primal protection, of continuous vigilance. Every sensation carries the weight of unexpressed histories, every breath a testament to the extraordinary capacity for survival. Relationships become complex territories of negotiation, intimate spaces where trust is traded with extraordinary caution. The individual who became an adult too soon moves through emotional landscapes with the precision of a master strategist, constantly assessing, constantly protecting, constantly maintaining the delicate balance between vulnerability and self-preservation. Intimacy transforms into a calculated dance where emotional safety is never guaranteed, always negotiated, always carefully managed. If you feel these insights stirring something within you, share your voice and support this space with a like. These reflections help others find their way through the same shadows. And if you wish to keep walking with us through these deeper layers of the mind, join us by subscribing. Repressed memories drift like phantom limbs through the internal landscape, fragments of experiences too painful to be fully remembered yet too powerful to be completely forgotten. These memories exist in a state of perpetual suspension, creating internal weather systems of unexplained emotions, sudden triggers, unexpected waves of grief or anger that emerge without apparent warning, breaking through the carefully constructed facade of emotional control. The psychological defense mechanisms become both shield and prison, intricate systems of protection that simultaneously guard and limit the essential self. What appears as emotional stability is frequently a delicate illusion maintained through continuous internal work, through constant vigilance, through an almost superhuman capacity for emotional regulation. Each moment of apparent strength conceals layers of unprocessed experience, layers of unexpressed pain, layers of survival strategies. Dreams become the primary sanctuary where the suppressed emotional self can finally speak, where the locked rooms of internal experience can momentarily open, where the true depth of unprocessed trauma can breathe and reveal itself. In these nocturnal landscapes, the forced adult loses control, the carefully maintained boundaries soften, and the raw, unfiltered experience of the wounded child emerges in symbolic, powerful narratives that transcend ordinary language. The external world and internal reality create a constant negotiation, a complex dance where appearance and essence move in intricate counterpoint. Survival becomes an art form, a continuous process of adaptation, of finding meaning, of creating space for healing within the most challenging of circumstances. Each breath, each movement, each moment of awareness becomes an opportunity for transformation, for reclaiming the stolen territories of emotional experience. The shadow emerges not as an enemy to be conquered, but as the most profound teacher, the silent messenger carrying the most intimate truths of fractured existence. Here, in the deepest terrain of psychological awakening, the masks dissolve, the elaborate constructions of survival fall away, and the raw essence of human experience reveals itself in its most naked, vulnerable state. This is the moment of true confrontation, where the forced adult and the wounded child meet in a landscape beyond time, beyond narrative, beyond explanation. Pain transforms from an adversary into a complex language, a profound communication system through which the suppressed self speaks its most fundamental truths. Each tremor, each hidden wound, each unexpressed emotion carries a melody, a silent symphony of survival that has been playing continuously within the internal chambers of being. The body becomes a living archive storing not just memories but entire universes of unspoken experience, entire galaxies of emotion compressed into microscopic moments of sensation. The psychological landscape reveals itself as a terrain of extraordinary complexity where every defense mechanism, every survival strategy becomes visible in its profound beauty and devastating fragility. Survival is not a linear journey but a constant dance of negotiation, a moment-by-moment navigation through internal landscapes more intricate than any external geography, more challenging than any physical terrain, more demanding than any visible battle. Trauma moves through the system like an underground river, invisible yet profoundly transformative, carving new paths, creating unexpected connections, dissolving old boundaries, revealing hidden territories of experience. The premature maturity that once seemed like a protective armor now reveals itself as a delicate, intricate web of adaptations, a complex system of survival that both protected and limited the essential self. In this deepest layer of psychological exploration, the distinction between pain and healing becomes meaningless. They are not opposing forces but fundamental aspects of the same profound transformative process. The wounded child, the forced adult, the silent observer all merge into a singular consciousness, a moment of extraordinary integration where fragmentation gives way to a more holistic understanding of human experience. The internal landscape breathes with a rhythm beyond individual experience, a collective pulse that connects personal suffering with a more universal narrative of human resilience. Each moment of forced adaptation, each strategy of survival becomes a testament to the extraordinary capacity of human consciousness to transform, to adapt, to find meaning in the most challenging of circumstances. Memories no longer function as fixed narratives but as living, breathing entities that shift and transform with each moment of awareness. The past is not something that happened but a continuous process of interpretation and reintegration, a dynamic field of energy that can be reshaped, reimagined, reconstructed through conscious presence, through profound, compassionate awareness. The psychological wounds that once seemed like insurmountable barriers now reveal themselves as portals of transformation, gateways to a more authentic, deeper, more profound understanding of self. Each painful memory, each suppressed emotion, each forgotten moment of vulnerability becomes an opportunity for radical healing, a chance to rewrite the internal narrative, to reclaim the stolen territories of experience. Consciousness expands beyond individual experience, touching something more profound, something that transcends personal history, something that connects the individual journey with a more universal understanding of human suffering and human potential. The boundaries between personal and collective experience begin to dissolve, revealing a more interconnected, more compassionate understanding of human experience. In the soft luminescence of understanding, healing emerges not as a final destination but as a continuous unfolding, a gentle awakening of the true self long hidden beneath layers of survival and protection. The journey through the landscape of premature maturity reveals itself as a profound metamorphosis where the wounds of unexpected adulthood become the very source of wisdom, the very ground of compassionate self-understanding. The fragmented self begins to reassemble not as a return to an imagined innocence but as a creation of something entirely new, a more integrated, more authentic presence that honors both the wounded child and the resilient adult. Each moment of pain, each strategy of survival becomes a thread in a larger tapestry of human experience, a complex, beautiful, intricate narrative of resilience, of transformation, of profound inner strength. Healing is not about erasing the past but about creating a new relationship with experience, a profound dialogue between the different aspects of self. The locked rooms of childhood begin to open not with violence or force but with gentle, compassionate awareness. Memories that once seemed threatening now become sources of insight, sources of profound understanding, sources of unexpected beauty. The body releases its long-held tensions, muscles soften, breath deepens, the internal landscape begins to breathe with a new rhythm, a rhythm of acceptance, of integration, of profound self-compassion. What once seemed like wounds now reveal themselves as portals of transformation, as gateways to a more authentic, more deeply felt experience of being alive. If you feel that this story helped you see your own inner landscape more clearly, offer a like and share your thoughts. And if you want this space to remain part of your journey ahead, subscribe. Together we continue the path of understanding, healing, and awakening. The distinction between pain and healing dissolves into a more profound understanding. Survival becomes not a strategy but a form of art, a complex, beautiful, intricate dance of consciousness. The premature maturity that once seemed like a burden now reveals itself as a profound teacher, a source of unexpected wisdom, a testament to the extraordinary capacity of human consciousness to transform. Forgiveness emerges not as a single moment but as a continuous process, a gentle, ongoing dialogue with the self, a profound acceptance of the journey that brought you to this moment. The wounded child, the forced adult, the silent observer all find their place in a more expansive, more compassionate internal landscape, a landscape of profound understanding and radical self-love. The world begins to look different, perception shifts, understanding deepens. What once seemed like limitations become sources of strength, what seemed like wounds become portals of transformation. The psychological journey reveals itself as a sacred path, a profound opportunity for growth, for healing, for a more authentic, more deeply felt experience of being alive. Consciousness expands beyond individual experience, touching a more universal understanding of human resilience. The personal story becomes a thread in a larger tapestry of human experience, a testament to the extraordinary capacity for healing, for transformation, for profound self-understanding. The journey of healing continues not as a destination but as a continuous, beautiful unfolding of human potential. In this moment of profound integration, the true self emerges not as a fixed identity but as a living, breathing, dynamic process of becoming. The boundaries between past and present, between pain and healing, between individual and collective experience begin to dissolve, revealing a more interconnected, more compassionate, more profound understanding of what it means to be fully alive. If something in these words stirred a truth inside you, don't ignore it. Follow the channel and continue this inner journey with me. You were never meant to walk it alone.